Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Charlie Mike, hosted by me, Mike Buchanan. This podcast is here for you to get to know veterans and others who are either continuing the veteran mission post-service or helping us to continue our own missions. Today, we're going to be talking to retired First Sergeant Johnathan Hill. Again, because I forgot to hit the record button. So he's a strategic relations manager for Discovery Behavioral Health and a really good personal friend until I keep him here longer than he's supposed to be. And then he'll probably reconsider being friends with me again. But anyway, tell everybody, hey, John.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
All right, listen. Let's start with. I'm so sorry.
It's all good, man. No, hey. Man, you're good. Let's do this.
Oh, man, I can't get it. Oh, God. All you can do is laugh at yourself, right?
You know, if anybody could see how red your face is right now, it's amazing.
So bad. It's so bad. That's the second time I did it today.
Yep.
Oh, man. Okay, you know, like, here's your sign. It's like the Jeff Foxworthy, you know? Like, right. Here's your sign, dude.
You'd need a poster board right now.
I know, I could have been. All right, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, once again, I'm Johnathan Hill. I'm a retired First Sergeant United States Army. Was a 19 Delta to 19 Zulu senior, you know, and stuff like that. Spent 21 years till they told me I was old, grumpy, and broken. That's my pitch line. I like to say that.
Yeah.
You know, and it was time to go. You know, I grew up in Virginia, war zone of the family, and what a lot of us do is, you know, we want a new life, so we joined the military. So that's exactly what I did, and it was a new home for me. You know, I had new family, new guidance, new leadership, and I grew, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, you know, physically, mentally, and things like that, and continued to attend schools and get promoted and all that kind of stuff all the way up until, you know, I retired after 21 years. I've been deployed many times, and you know, I've gone through some really tough times, like you and I both have, on the battlefield and back home and things like that. And so I just found a new life to do what I'm doing now, which is you know, advocating for veterans and being a strategic account manager for a Discovery Behavioral Health.
Yeah. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks for bearing with me, friend.
Yeah.
Jeez. So if you don't know, I'm laughing because I forgot to hit the record button.
Again.
Again, twice today. Yeah. Listen, I'm a human being out there, people. I'm going to look right into that camera and tell you, I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I know he's doing some stupid face I'm going to see on post. I know it. All right. Well, thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I'm sure that we're going to get to talk a little bit more about what you do for Discovery Behavioral Health, because I think it's a really cool job. I think it's cool what you do. And we'll get into that a little bit about what you're doing post-service. So listen, I know that I would be remiss. I said this last time when we were recording, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask you questions about the Outpost, because your unit is featured in the Outpost. And so I'm going to ask you some good questions about that. Don't be mad at me. Don't punch me across this table. I don't need to get Superman punched before my weekend starts. Okay? So I promise I'll be nice. I know that there's got to be a lot of people out there that have asked you questions, though, that have been like, why would you ask me that kind of question?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I even watch when people like celebrities get interviewed sometimes, and I'm just like, what makes you think that you're the person that can ask that question to that person?
Yep.
Like, you should just crawl into a hole and die somewhere.
They don't think before they ask.
No.
It's just dumb.
It's just dumb. Yeah. But I promise you, I put a lot of thought into it because you're my friend. Aw, I wish I had like an aw button. I need like an aw button.
You do.
Aw. Okay. All right. So, so as some might know, your unit was featured in a documentary on Netflix called The Outpost. So how do you think that this event has molded your life or changed the course of your life forever? So what I mean, okay, is I know that obviously war changes us, okay, but having your name now synonymous with an event that's now burned or etched into documentary history, okay, how does that change you? Did that change your path once you got out?
Yeah, it does change you because you get a lot of people asking a lot of questions about what happened and how did you deal with it and you know, how are you today and what do you do today and you know, you see your name and I hate seeing my name on things. I am not someone who wants their name on a board or anything like that. I would rather put the 8 men that died up front those are the ones that need all the notoriety and stuff like that.
The real heroes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so when you see like articles and you see things like that, and you see people reaching out to do interviews and things like that, it really makes you think. And what it is a constant reminder of what you went through.
Mm-hmm.
And so it puts you in a place where you've got to be able to take it as not a negative thing, but as a positive thing, because it's almost like getting exposure therapy. So I'm reliving it and answering questions and reliving it and answering questions, which is it's actually done something really good for me. I have a really good friend out there, and I'm going to say his name.
Please do.
Huh?
I said, wait, you're going to say his name? Who's his name? What's his name? Who's your good friend?
No, I can't even remember his name.
Oh, that's okay. It's because you're going gray. We all know this.
Yeah, it comes with age.
It does come with age.
Jimmy Mack.
Oh, Jimmy Mack. Okay.
Jimmy Mack.
I met Jimmy Mack.
He's a great dude, one of my favorites, and he pulled me aside because I was really shallow about talking about it because I really didn't want to talk about it.
Sure,
like a lot of people do. You don't see Vietnam, World War II veterans talking about the things that they've gone through in their life or in their And he said, "Look, man, if you really want to make a difference in the community, you want to get someone to realize that they need help. Tell them about your story. Tell them what you did. Tell them how you reacted. Tell them how it affected you, and tell them what you did to get better." And he says, you need to tell your story. And ever since then, I've been a little bit easier about coming forth about, talking about it. But again, it's like reliving it and reliving it. And so it's a bad thing, a really, really super bad thing, turning into something that is being able to allow me to help those that need help.
Yeah, well put. I say the same thing about a lot of the things that I've gone through. I always tell people it's like an open wound, right? Mental health or anything that traumatizes us is like getting like a gash on your arm, okay? If you have a gash on your arm, you're going to bandage it, obviously, right? That's what we all do. It's what the human psyche does with mental health. It bandages it. It bandages it. I can't even say that word. It puts a bandage on it, okay? It puts a bandage on it, and it tries to protect us from the rest of the world, right? From the rest of everything else that's going on around it. But you can't keep a bandage forever. Like you can't because it's unhealthy. Like it'll turn to gangrene or it'll just stay. It'll never scab. It'll never heal. It'll never protect itself ever again. And so I try to explain to veterans the very same thing that you just eloquently said about why you tell people or talk about what happened at the Outpost. Is the same exact reason, right? You need to let it air out every once in a while.
You do.
You got to let it breathe.
It's like it's like talking to someone who's not a licensed professional.
Yeah.
so you just gotta kind of treat it like it's therapy. And if you think positive about it, you think about it as therapy, it actually can work.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Not to discredit the licensed professionals out there, but just to say.
Listen, can I tell you a secret about licensed professionals that I might get in trouble for?
Well, if you're going to tell me, it's not a secret anymore.
You're right, and it's not a secret anymore at all because it'll be on YouTube on Charlie Mike VA. Just Charlie Mike VA. No, I'm just kidding. No, a little secret about them. Did you know that they are probably the most messed up in the head?
Oh yeah. Well, I got
a majority of them.
Yeah. Well, I got a phone call before when I was in the parking lot. I got a phone call about a licensed professional that needs help.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine sitting in a room for hours at a day, listening to other people's issues, and having to help them fix their issues, and you're having to compartmentalize them yourself.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Well, it's like a statistic thing. They did some like survey or something one time, and they said, okay, why did you join? Like, why did you go for this, major or whatever? And most of them were like, because I was really screwed up and needed to figure out what's wrong with me.
but on the thing, but we have to have them.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, who better to have on your side, right, than a really good therapist or provider that is just as messed or used to be just as messed up as you were. Yeah. Or are, right? And so like they know what it's like to be on that side of the fence, which is great. I think it's wonderful.
Well, I mean, you think about it too, a lot of the folks that are doing a lot of the treatment modalities and a lot of the treatment for, like, let's just say example, substance use disorder. Yeah. A lot of them are in recovery. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you got to have the experienced professional.
Yeah, it gives you empathy. I mean, it gives you empathy, and empathy is probably one of the hardest things to teach. Yeah. You can't teach empathy.
No.
You can't. You can't do that. Sorry. Let me ask you another question. This might be a little tougher of a question. Has it been difficult for you to separate yourself from that moment? and just to focus on your own transition from military service. So you know what I mean by that, where people are always going to associate your name with that. Always, right? And you're always going to be contacted for that. Has it been very difficult to separate yourself from that, just to kind of get a moment of just you time?
It was at first. Okay. It really was at first. It was hard to separate, not just from that moment, but just from the military period. And again, when I got out, transition was a little bit different than what they're offering now. Transition was like, okay, here, you're going to go through a week-long class where you're going to learn how to tie your tie, and you're going to learn how to do a mock interview. And by the way, when I went through a week long of getting out of the military, the gal that was teaching the program had just gotten out of the military. So I'm just trying to figure that out.
Totally the expert in their field.
Yeah. So, no, it's been hard to separate at first, but, after so many years and doing this for so long now, I'm starting to find some comfort. I'm starting to realize, more and more every day, the more that I do this, what my purpose in life is now, whether you have a higher calling or a higher person that you pray to or answer to, wherever the case may be, I feel like I still have purpose in life, and this is one of my purposes, and I'm finding it. And so it's becoming a lot easier.
That's good. It's good to hear. Well, I wanted to ask you that because I think that it's something that I think about even as your friend.
Yeah.
Right. Like I really do think about that. I'm always like, I know some people have reached out to me. They're like, hey, you're friends with John Hill, right? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do you think you can get him to like come and do a speech here? And I'm just like, I almost want to be like a really good manager and be like, no, right? I just want to be like, get off my friend. You know what I mean?
Well, and I appreciate that. That's awesome that you would do that.
Back up, dude.
One of the things is I'm happy to do it if the audience is somebody that's going to get
something out of it. Love it.
I'm not going to stand at like a 5-star dinner where everybody's in suits and ties and getting paid money to do it. I want to do it at no cost, and I want to do it where the audience is going to gain something from it. They're going to learn something from it. They're going to say, you know what, I have been there and I need help. And it's happened a few times to a couple audiences. I'm not going to say where because I don't want to expose that.
Sure.
But I had on two separate occasions, two members out of the audience come to me and say, I need help. And that to me was a win. That's why I like to do what I do.
I do know. That's why we're friends. we think a lot alike.
Yeah.
I never would ever charge anybody to go and talk. I talk to a lot of people about stuff, and no, I would never charge. And someone once told me, they were like, you're just wasting a whole lot of money on the table there. You should be charged for your words. And I said, it's not about that, right? Yeah. Like it's about the information being out there. Yep. Like even this podcast, right? So like my kid grilled me one time about this podcast, and they were like, you only have like 150 views. And I was like, that's 150 people that got information. That's right. A win.
If you get one person that pulls their gun out of their mouth and they go get help, that is a win.
That's exactly, right? Or like, what if that one person was watching this video and laughed instead of thought about that, right? And that one laugh was just long enough.
Yeah.
To keep them from doing something and going and getting help or whatever it may be. Yeah, 150 people. Yeah. I'm happy for one. I'm happy for one. I don't even care if it was just one. Honestly, like I'm just doing this because I think that a lot of people out there, employees, veterans, anybody really can benefit from knowing information.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
Information is key, man.
Yeah. Well, teamwork is key.
Sure.
But, attention to detail.
You're going to start bringing back memories, man.
I know. You're welcome. Because if you're not Cav. Because if you ain't Cav.
You ain't beep.
That's why I always used to say, like on the podcast, I'm always like, well, if you know how that ends, you're my friend.
You're my friend.
So answer me this. What has kept you being such an advocate for, well, you kind of already answered this. I don't really have to, but I'll ask anyway. What do you think? What do you think has really kept you being an advocate? Because I know that you and I first met when you were working with Stephen A. Cohen.
That's right.
And which love them. We're gonna get them on.
Still a great place.
Yes.
Yeah. Still a great place.
We're trying to get them on, but because of the pandemic, it's making things very difficult and who's available and whatnot. But so I met you for originally there.
That's right.
And then, so what do you think? Because I know why I do this, right? And I know what really kind of keeps me moving forward. And maybe it's a little bit of the same for you. But what do you think, like deep down, really is the reason why you keep pushing forward?
for me to keep pushing forward
as an advocate.
as an advocate. Well, there's actually two answers to that. Number one, those who have fought for our country, combat, or they train, or whatever the case would be, they deserve quality care. They deserve to get the best. They deserve to live the rest of their lives in a peaceful and respectful manner. Secondly, when I had gone through, I had been deployed many times, and in one of those deployments, I was ashamed for asking for help because I had seen some atrocities and things like that had happened in that country. And, at that moment I was like, that's just not right. To me, that just doesn't seem like good leadership. So when that happened, I said to myself, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to making sure that guys and gals that served, or whatever pronoun, I'm trying to do way better at that too. I promise you that.
It's hard.
It's hard, but everybody deserves a fair share.
Yeah, 1,000%. But it is difficult, and but we're doing better. I think.
Yeah.
Some of us are doing better at it.
If you served your country, you deserve all the good things.
Yes.
So anyway, I got shamed, and I said I need to show what good leadership looks like. I need to show what the right leadership looks like. Send your folks to counseling when they need it, because it's going to do good for them. And, by the way, I'll say it, I retired as a first sergeant, so getting counseling was a good thing for me after even they said, you're never going to make anything out of yourself. You're never going to do anything good in the military. You're never going to get promoted. You're a coward, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? It actually turned out to be the best thing I did. While everybody else was struggling, I made it. I got promoted. I did great things. And I'm not trying to be egotistical, but what I'm trying to say is counseling is a good thing. Yeah. No, counseling is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's going to help you.
Yeah.
You're going to get the tools to do better.
Sure.
So.
Well, that's a pretty good answer. I'll tell you mine. I got shamed as well. I think it's just a thing with combat MOSs in the military.
It is.
It's just it's like you just don't talk about it kind of thing.
Right.
Almost like a don't ask, don't tell.
Pretty much.
All over again.
Yeah,
okay. It's just like that. And so I got shamed a lot. My first deployment, I knew that I needed some help, or I was going to be a danger to myself and others.
Sure.
And then I tried to say I need some help, and it was hard. It was like a hard decision I made.
It is.
And to go to someone who you truly respect, or leadership that you respect, and you don't want to look weak in front of, and then you go to them and you're like, I need help.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting the crap kicked out of me by people who just thought I was just trying to put it on to just get out of combat or something, or just to get out of the fob, or to go take a clean shower, or it had nothing to do with that. It had to do with I was just trying to do the right thing. So I totally understand where you're coming from with that. And I thank you for being that advocate, because I know that people like me needed that. And I know when I went and got help, I went to an inpatient facility. Sure. I went to a place in Denton.
Yes.
UBH, actually. I went to UBH.
When I was there, not when you went through, but later on, we had discussion about that.
And so when I went to UBH, it changed my life.
Yeah.
And when I remember when I came back, everyone out of the woodworks was like, hey, can I talk to you real quick? Hey, can I talk to you real quick?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure. And it was E6s, E7s, first sergeants, sergeant majors were like, hey, can I talk to you? Can I talk about that program? What'd you learn there? Do you think that maybe I can get into this program or whatever? And so you became this advocate for other people who couldn't advocate for themselves, or who are scared to do it. And so I think I just love people like us who really just don't give a crap at the end of the day, just want to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no, same to you.
Yeah. All right. So, what has been your biggest hurdle, do you think, since transitioning?
Oh, wow. Trying to get out of being a senior non-commissioned officer, first sergeant type attitude.
Being in charge of everything?
Yeah. So, a couple of things, even today, I was told that you need to be more optimistic about some things, and I try, I really try, but times are tough right now with COVID and all kinds of the politics and all the things that you see, and nothing positive is in the news right now, and so, being optimistic is one thing, and I'm trying really hard about that. And a lot of the other hurdles are just trying to make sure that the barrier for me is trying to make sure that there are no barriers for men and women to get care.
Yeah.
You're like that person that's trying to knock those barriers down, and it seems like sometimes when you get one barrier knocked down, another one pops up. So that's some of the difficult things, and it's a multitude of things. When I talk about barriers, it's like insurance, it's transportation, it's, does the family want this person to go? Is it the right place for this person to go, and things like that. Some of the other things that's been the biggest hurdle is just, still really adjusting to working in the civilian force. That's still, even though I've been out for over 10 years, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. I think I'm doing a lot better right now.
Yeah.
I've become more empathetic. I've been more understanding. I've been more, it's been a more of a transition for me. The more that I work with civilian folks, I understand, from the other side. And, I think the civilian population, the industries out there have been doing a much better job of understanding post-traumatic stress disorder, what to do, how to identify it, how you talk to the veterans and things like that, and make them feel comfortable in their office space or in their workspace or stuff like that. But on the same token, we as veterans have got to do our share of saying, well, we're going into the workforce and we've got to understand how to conduct ourselves and understand the civilian workforce as well. So
accountability.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, we don't do so hot with that a lot of the times.
Sometimes no.
Sometimes no. Sometimes just big no.
That's right.
I want to touch on what you said about the optimism versus pessimism, right?
Right.
I think, though, it's a military trait in and of itself, right?
Sure.
Being pessimistic, because we're trained at a very early time period, especially as a first sergeant, right? You're in charge of so many people. You have to be pessimistic.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to always be prepared for the worst. You're always looking to what is worst case scenario and how do I prepare for this?
It is. But that's a true statement. You've always got to be, on your toes, but you always got, because when you're doing stuff in the military, there's always going to be that one kink. You're going to
unknown.
You're going to drop the fill on the radio. There's a flat tire. Someone didn't top off. Someone's damn engine won't start or something like that. It's always going to happen.
Yeah.
You always have that in your mind. Like, okay, we're going to ASP. Who's going to break down?
Yeah.
It's
always
the way
something.
it is. It's the way it is. And for 20 years, 21 years, that's what I went through. So, but when I was told that, I took it as constructive criticism. I was like, you know what? That's great feedback. I need to do better. And that's how we got to react. Plain and simple.
Yeah. I really hate to ask you this question, but I'm going to, and be nice. As nice as you can be. Do you use VA healthcare?
I do not.
Why?
You know what? I don't have a good answer for that. I don't have an honestly good answer. I just
it's okay. Any answer is good. Okay. You're the first person I've gotten to have that I know does not use VA. That's why I asked you the question.
So how do you know? Have you been looking into my records?
No, I'm not allowed to do that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have access to patient records in my job and functionality duties.
HIPAA violation.
In my current job and functions, I do not have access to patient records.
No. Okay, so the reason why I don't use the VA is I'm retired, number one.
Yeah.
So I have TRICARE West, TRICARE for life for retirees. There's like 1,000 different TRICAREs out there now. So it's just more convenient for me to just drive down the road and go see a primary care provider.
It's the crappiest answer I've heard.
That's not a crappy answer. So what you're telling me, hear me out.
Okay.
So you want me to drive 30 miles to go to an appointment at VA when I can go 2 miles down the road and see a primary care provider?
That's not what I'm saying, John. I'll tell you like I tell everybody else, okay? Because I have to.
Okay.
Because now I feel like compelled to, right?
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you like I tell everybody else. You earned VA services.
Yes.
You earned them, okay?
Yes.
You deserve them, okay?
That's
You're
right.
not entitled to them. Let's get that out of the way, okay?
Right.
I hate that word, entitled, okay? Because we're not entitled to anything.
Right.
Okay, but we do deserve it. You deserve it. You earned it. And you're helping other veterans by using it at least once a year. I'm not asking you to use the VA all the time for your primary care is everything. The VA is your world, okay? I'm just saying.
Well, okay, I want to tell you, okay.
I'm
going to agree with you. You're absolutely right. And that's part of being a leader, and that's part of being a good advocate. So you know what? I will do that.
Because I can get you hooked up with
and I will tell you, it has absolutely nothing to do with,
Oh, I know.
The fact that, the horror stories that you hear in the news and all that other kind of stuff. I'm like, but again, it's what the media does. They like to highlight all the bad stories. They never highlight the good stories.
Of course.
The VA does a lot of good work. They really do. They have a lot of great departments. They have a lot of great work, a lot of surgeries. And, I was overhearing one of your other shows and, talking about the surgeries and all that kind of stuff. And so they do provide quality, world-class care. Yes. I'm not going to doubt that.
Yeah.
And not every VA is perfect. Not every department is perfect. There's got to be, there's got to be some cleanup here, there, and whatever. And any industry is the same thing. But I hear you, and you put me on a spot, and
You're welcome.
I'm gonna punch you as hard as I can as soon as we're done with this.
Oh, I know you are. I know it. I had to take my shot, man. I had to take it. No, I just I think that's so important. Veterans don't understand that we don't get paid like a normal hospital does.
Right.
Everyone thinks that we just get paid. Well, there's thousands of veterans going to see the VA. They got plenty of funding. Look at all the funding that they have and all this stuff. But like, that's not how we get paid. We get paid for butts and seats like nonprofit.
Right.
And so like, even if you're a veteran and you don't use the VA, you should still come and use the VA at least once a year because one, you stay current, which is good because like, what if you ever do get into some like major bike accident? Okay. And then you need to have some reconstructive surgery or something. You ain't going to want to pay for that with TRICARE.
No.
You're going to come to the VA, and then the VA is going to be like, well, you're not enrolled.
Why did you have to say bike accident?
I'm just saying.
You just hexed me, man.
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean to. I'm just saying.
There's two kind of riders, right?
Oh, God.
Two kind of riders. Those that I've wrecked and those are going to.
Yes, I know. I'm a rider.
Believe me, every motorcycle I've owned, I've wrecked. So.
Oh, my God, man. No, I don't want to hex you, but I'm just saying that it's a very real thing. I mean, it's a very real thing to consider, right? Like, what if you need it? What if you need it that one day? Do you really want to wade through the water, wade through all of the red tape and the propaganda and the, just the bull to get in and get connected, or go see them once a year so that they never bother you ever again?
No, I get it. No, but even though you're giving me a jab and everything, you really bring up a good point. And it's appreciated.
Touche.
But yeah, no, I agree with you, and I'll definitely make that effort. I owe it to myself, and then to set a good example. So no, you're right.
He's just being really nice because he really wants to punch me. He's learned so much from civilians. Yeah. Whoever's been your civilian mentor, just God love them.
Oh yeah, well,
pray for that. All right, man. So listen, here's your last question.
Shoot.
All right. So tell us about kind of what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And then how does it help you continue serving the mission of taking care of our brothers and sisters in arms? Because I know doing that job has got to be good for you and your kind of mental health as well. So. Yeah,
absolutely. So again, I work for Discovery Behavioral Health. I got this position. It was a blessing in disguise, to be quite honest with you. TJ Saschev, who's my colleague and supervisor, is this fantastic lady who's got like this enormous amount of positive energy and such a tactical leader, natural born leader. I got this opportunity. I started out as clinical outreach and moved up to strategic account manager. And what I do is I try to create the relationships with all the VAs across the nation and all our facilities that have veteran programs within their facilities. So we have a number of facilities that do residential care for detox, substance use disorder. It's a dual diagnosis type program, and there's a veteran track or veteran program in it. There's some in California. There's one here in Texas, down in New Hope Ranch, down in Manor, Texas. It's hard to say Manor without throwing a little redneck slang.
Manor.
Down there, Manor.
Manor.
But it's a freaking beautiful facility, man. It's over 40 acres of ranch. It's been remodeled. It's beautiful. It's great food. It's great services. And by the way, they have veteran clinicians.
That's cool.
Clinicians that have served are working at that facility and other facilities as well. So, that's important because the connections need to be made, especially when that somebody has worn a uniform. It's much easier. It's just a fantastic, beautiful place. It's not like, whitewash hospital coats, all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit easier to relax, get a little more fresh air, and it's just a fantastic facility. And I'm not saying that to get paid. If I didn't even work for this company, I would still advocate for them and I would go there if I needed that particular services. And they have Casa Palmera, and they have Pinelands up in New Jersey that have veteran programs as well, and Cliffside out in California. So there's a lot of programs. So my job, again, is just to kind of create those relationships between our company and the VAs, just so they know that we're here to be good stewards to the VA. We want to be good community partners. We want to do what a lot of other folks want to do, and we would just want to see, our brothers and sisters get a better place in life when they're struggling. And, once I create those relationships, I'll hand that off to, someone who is a clinical outreach folks to maintain and things like that. So I do a lot of traveling. I do a lot of handshaking and talking and stuff like that. And a lot of times that's one of the only times you really ever hear me talk about my personal story, because I want them to know how passionate I am about it. I'm not just someone who's getting paid to say, hey, we have a great program. I'm doing this because I'm passionate about it, and I work for a company who's equally as passionate about seeing veterans get better. So in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Yeah, it's always nice being able to work for someone that kind of like shares the same passion.
No, it's real.
Yeah.
I've worked for a number of other great companies, and they all have great programs as well. But for me, it's just, talking to the executive leadership all the way down to someone who's a tech, you can tell there's passion there. There's a need, there's a want for people to get better. So I feel like I'm at home.
That's really great. Yeah, I commend you for that, because mental health inpatient program saved my life.
Yeah.
And so really anybody that's doing even a decent mental health inpatient facility these days, I commend, because if it wouldn't have been for inpatient mental health, I probably would not be here.
Yeah.
So like I cannot stress enough. Like I tell veterans a lot that you need to treat mental health like you treat cancer.
Yeah.
And so if you go in for mental health and a doctor's like, you should probably check in for the next 72 hours.
Yeah.
You should just say, great, sounds good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like instead of like fighting it all the time, because like you may not know yourself as well as you think that you do.
That's right.
And if someone finds something, like if they find cancer, their first reaction is going to be, okay, how much can we cut out? Right. Inpatient services is that surgery to cut it out, right? Is to get out as much as possible and then put you back out into outpatient surgery, which would be, or outpatient care, which would be the equivalent of like getting follow-up chemo treatments, right? To kind of get what is really stuck in there. Like, it's going to kill you if we try to cut it out, kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's how I try to explain inpatient services to veterans.
Sure.
But yeah, good quality inpatient service.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, and we have it. And I encourage everybody to go to the website, discoverybehavioral.com, newhopebranch.com, and all the others. You can navigate that pretty good. Over 100 facilities across the nation. Just great care. And they do a lot of work with eating disorders, anxiety, depression, all kinds of other things. So it's well worth just taking a moment just to click on to see what we have to offer.
Thanks, man. And also, thanks to your company just for being an advocate for the VA and wanting to work with us,
Yes.
to help us when we need a little extra help for veterans.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime.
On behalf of the VA. I just jumped someone out of their skin just a second ago when I said on behalf of the VA, and it came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, man. That's all I had for you today. Do you want to leave any parting words?
No, man, I just wish everybody well, health, prosperity, and all the good things in life, man. Life is short, man. I turned 50 this year, so I'm telling you, man, more gray hairs coming. Just live life to the fullest, man. Lots of love and peace out there, and I look forward to hearing from some folks about getting better.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much, man. All right, listen, that's all we got for you today. And so, yeah, that's it. Huge thanks to John for coming in here and telling a little bit more about himself and his transition from military life and how he's still helping fellow veterans and service members find the right care for their mental health challenges. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, etc. at #VA North Texas or at Charlie Mike VA if you're looking for it on YouTube. That's where you'll find it. Also, please like, subscribe, and comment down below for the love of God, okay? Because that's how the YouTube does their algorithm, and that's how we can get this video and this information onto more veterans. So please like, comment, subscribe, and that's it. Listen, no matter how bad things seem to be ever, just remember, Charlie Mike.
Don't tell me I'm wrong. Standing up and strong. At least I got something left to stand for. At least I got something left to stand for.